everyone, and welcome to the On the Go Post Show with your Go Morning Show team. This is again live on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you for joining us. It is Thursday, March 18th. I hope you had an amazing St. Patrick's Day, and we are waking up in Northeast Ohio. If you're watching from Northeast Ohio, with a little bit of rain, and we have a lot to talk about. I'm Danielle Wiggins with Holly Strano. Yay, Holly's back, as well as Maureen Kyle and Dave Fidowski. We're going to talk about the opening of Playhouse Square, reopening, the news that was announced this week, as well as March Madness starting today. But first, Holly, the rain. That's all we're seeing this morning. And windy conditions too.
It's actually going to intensify, believe it or not. So far, and if you're picking this up right now live, it's been pretty light. It's going to be more moderate to heavy as we get into late morning and beyond. Could see upwards of an inch of rain in some spots, and that's just through today, and a little snow mixing in before this ends later tonight. So don't let that one shock you if you look out your window later. Temperatures gradually falling. Most of you started in the upper 40s. We'll be in the 30s this evening. We'll be in the 20s overnight. And then we're going to dry out. And I'll tell you, the weekend is really looking pretty fantastic. Tomorrow's going to be a cool day, but we're back to sunshine. And then spring arrives on Saturday. We'll hit 50. We'll be in the 60s by Sunday. So we can do it.
We can make it. We're going to see 60s next week. Thank you, Holly. We did get an email from someone who kind of likes the cold weather. So maybe they'll like tonight where they'll see some snow showers there.
Yeah, around Christmas. Yeah, and New Year's Day.
I'm with you, Dave. I kind of had it. Yeah.
Holly said snow. Holly said snow. Okay, let's just hope we're not seeing snow in April and May, hopefully. Let's fingers crossed with that. But we do have the 60s coming next week, so we're excited. Okay, something else that we are excited about, Playhouse Square.
Yeah.
Coming back, showbiz coming back to Northeast Ohio. And Maureen, we know you have the full scoop on that one.
Yeah. You know what? Playhouse Square, it is near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. And if you know anything about our theater district, it is the second largest in the country outside, on the East Coast, as outside of New York City. So when you think about it, I mean, we get some of the biggest shows here because, we're the next stop after Broadway. So they announced that they are going to be reopening very cautiously, but yesterday they announced they're going to be reopening. They're going to start with a show called The Choir Man. It's going to be a 35 show run. It's starting on June 11th. So the big question here is, oh my gosh, I cannot imagine myself, sitting shoulder to shoulder with people I don't know. I mean, no matter how you feel about it, we just haven't done that for a year. So there are going to be some safety precautions in place. They are going to have a lot of disinfecting, so hand sanitizing stations. You're going to buy tickets in pods. So 2, 4, or 6 person pods, and then they're going to space out the seats in between those pods. That's going to make it a little bit more difficult to get your hands on a ticket if there's a mad rush for one of these shows. And then also they have replaced filters in the vents to help with purifying the air, just as an extra precaution. So did I mention it's starting June 11th? Mm-hmm. I did, right? Yeah, okay, so that would be the first run of the show. So you also have to think about at that point, how many people are vaccinated, how many people have gone for their shot and gotten that in. Tickets are on sale now. So you can buy your tickets for your pod, but really this is an industry that we saw go dark for the entire year. They didn't do anything. They did some virtual shows online. They attempted some of those things, but people have not been in the theaters since this time last year. There's a huge following. I know my parents, they subscribe, they are members of Playhouse Square. So they get the Broadway series and they're always going in and out of plays. So, it's a big activity for us as Clevelanders to take part in. It's a night out. It's something that a lot of us haven't done. So this is, even if you don't typically go see a show at Playhouse Square, you've probably gone there for some reason. You've probably seen some sort of show. Kids take field trips there.
Sesame Street Live.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I've been to so many Paw Patrol lives.
Right.
Mark and I met at Playhouse Square at one of their we had our wedding reception there. So, What's
the favorite thing sorry to interrupt, Maureen. What's the favorite thing you've ever seen there?
Ooh, I mean, I went and saw Hamilton, which was amazing. And I've seen Wicked.
Have you seen Jesus Christ Superstar?
I have not seen it there.
Okay.
No, I haven't seen it there, but I'm sure in Catholic school I saw it. I'm sure I saw some sort of version of it. But I also, some of the things that they also have, and one of my favorite, probably the last time I was at Playhouse Square for one of their events was David Sedaris. Do you guys know who David Sedaris is? He's a writer.
Sounds familiar.
If you don't know David Sedaris, you gotta get in.
Fill us in, Mo. Don't leave us hanging.
So you'll know his famous sister, Amy Sedaris. She starred in the show on Comedy Central, Strangers with Candy. In the movie Elf, she is the dad's secretary. She's a comedian too. She's hilarious. But he's just a hilarious writer. He writes for the New Yorker. He's featured in the New Yorker. He has a ton of books. So he went and read some of his stuff. So they have these one-man shows that come through. They have comedians that come through. They have mini shows that pop up that aren't in their Broadway series. There's always something going on with all of those theaters. So to have the multiple theaters, I'm trying to think. There's got to be 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, like
at least
Theater and
State Theater, Ohio Theater. Oh gosh, this is like a quiz, Hannah.
Oh, you're gonna.
And then there's some smaller theaters within. So anyway, this is huge for them. It's huge for us as a city because that, of course, brings in a lot of money too.
Yeah, because you think about it, you've had restaurants at least could come back, whether it's half capacity, whatever. You've had different things that you've been able to do in some sort of fashion if you wanted to, but to think that it was out for a complete year is, wow.
And then you have to think about all of the jobs too that people lost. There were people who were working in the industry. I just actually received a message on Instagram about someone who worked in the theater industry here and said, well, she ended up having to start a business on the side to kind of help because she wasn't working. So good news for the industry and those who work in the industry as well.
Cowell and Hubbard is right next to the theater district. That is a Zach Brule restaurant. And I know Zach is one of the people that Austin is talking to in Save Our Sauce. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that restaurant, it was always packed. You had to call way in advance to get a reservation there because what people would do is go to that restaurant, which is one of our greatest chefs in the area. And then they would go see a show. So, he's going to be fascinating tomorrow night to listen to at 7 p.m. on WKYC, Save Our Sauce, what Austin's been working on. But that's one restaurant that was really tied to Playhouse Square.
And hopefully we can get Austin on tomorrow to give us more insight into his work on the Save Our Sauce program that's going to be airing, as Mo said, 7 p.m. tomorrow night on WKYC about the restaurant industry and how they're trying to recover too from this past year of the pandemic. But we also, something else that is, let's say, recovering because we didn't have it last year, March Madness. That starts today, but it's a little different, Dave.
Yeah. And before I get to that, one more thought on that other thing is I did my game changer. It will kind of lead into my next game changer. My last game changer, Doug Katz, he talked about how the restaurants, you rely on things like Playhouse Square and these events and sporting events and different things. And, they need these things to come back to help support the restaurant. So, it kind of all goes into play there. So Doug was my last game changer. My next game changer is Dennis Gates, and he's the head coach of the Cleveland State Vikings. I can't wait for everyone to see this tomorrow because March Madness is back. As Danielle said today, though, it's a little bit different. I need to explain this to you if you're a little confused. So usually you have to have your brackets filled out by noon today, right? Because the games always start at noon, and then they're on all day long, 16 games. This year it's a little different because everything is in Indianapolis. So logistical reasons, they pushed everything back. The first 4 games used to be on Tuesday and Wednesday. What they're doing is the first 4 games to get the final spots into the NCAA tournament, they will be played today. So you'll have the first 4 today. Then what usually happens on Thursday will happen now on Friday. So then you'll have 16 games on Friday, 16 games on Saturday. That's round 1. And then instead of it being Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then that's going to happen next week as well. So that's why you have another day to get your brackets done, because you don't do brackets for the first 4, which is now today. Cleveland State is part of the NCAA tournament for just the 3rd time in program history. That's right. 1986, when they beat Indiana, of course, went to the Sweet 16, 2009, and now this year. And they will play Houston. Houston is the 2 seed. It's going to be tough. They're a 20-point favorite over Cleveland State. And Danielle, as I've tried to explain to you this before, basically Las Vegas is giving Cleveland State a 20-point lead right now. So if you bet on Cleveland State, you have right now Cleveland State up 20-0. So Houston needs to win by more than 20 to cover that bet. That's a huge line. So Cleveland State's a big underdog is basically what this means. And we'll see if they can get it done tomorrow. But let's be honest, they've been getting it done all year. They were picked to finish 7th in their conference in the Horizon League. They have shocked everybody by making it to the NCAA tournament. And it's big reason Dennis Gates, he's my game changer tomorrow, head coach of the Vikings. I interviewed him last week for this segment, and I wanted to run through a wall. I wanted to go out and play this guy. He is incredible. I really don't know how much longer he'll be the coach at Cleveland State, because someone is going to come and pay this guy big money to come be their coach somewhere else. We've seen that. That's just what happens. We've seen
Dave calling it.
Places. Yeah, I hate to say it. He's that good. His teamwork approach and the way he has everything lined up on and off the court, you'll find out tomorrow during my game changer segment. So I'm excited about that. Go Vikings. Let's see if they can get it done. And Ohio State also in. They play at 3:00 tomorrow. Cleveland State at 7:15.
So again,
I don't know about you, but what I got from that, having a husband, being a huge basketball fan, is basically like, I'm not going to have help with laundry through the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe the laundry will get done, but I'm going to be the one running errands.
Put it in front of his face while he's watching the game. Have him fold this underwear.
Mark,
that is
as much right. Madness as you want. Here's 7 piles of laundry.
Right. That is a good point, because that's the Wiggins household during football bowl season. We are a football household.
Hey, I'm just during football season. Basketball, I was really into when I worked briefly in Louisville, obviously University of Louisville and University of Kentucky, but I don't know. I even had to ask Dave this morning. I'm like, I don't know. Wait, are brackets due yet?
I asked him too. I was like, do we fill out brackets this year?
Well, think about it too. You usually at offices like this, I know our guy who usually does it, and of course we don't, it's not for money. It's just for fun. And you print them out and everyone writes, but now you have to do it on the computer, and people did do it on the computer before, but now that we're isolated from each other, it's not like
that's
you
true.
Pass out brackets.
And that's the only reason why I would know what day I had to have my bracket in by, because like all the office emails.
And Mo, you will win. Mo, you will win all the time. I remember you used to do it. You will win a lot. So
I did win one year. Yeah, I can't remember when that was.
True story. My daughters came in 2nd place one year because I just read out the names and they picked the states they liked better. And most of the states were ones down south when we drive from Ohio to Florida. So, they knew Kentucky, or they knew West Virginia, they knew Virginia, they knew North Carolina. And like all those teams won that year. That's what, you pick the mascots. That's how people win. It's not what you know.
Well, let us know how your bracket is heading or turning out, which teams top your March Madness bracket. Also, let us know what shows you're looking forward to coming to Playhouse Square. If you're excited, we would love to hear you in the comment section. And Pamela, good morning. Thanks for joining us this morning. Well, have an amazing Thursday. Make sure you leave with your umbrella. You're going to need it all day because of the rain. You'll see Holly, Mo, and Dave during the Today Show. We'll see you tomorrow morning starting at